The American Urological Association is 100 years old and over 14,000 members strong. Who would have thought, over a span of just 100 years, we would decrease the mortality rate of prostate cancer, eliminate life-threatening kidney stones without ever using a scalpel, and make extraordinary strides to help those with erectile dysfunction?
There's really no medical counterpart to urologist. It is a blend of a surgical specialty with elegant operations plus medical management of patients. And then finally, we take care of everybody from a neonate to geriatric urology.
Through members' dedication and diligence all over the world, the AUA has improved the lives and saved the lives of so many. 1902 was the year Teddy Roosevelt added 150 million acres to what would become the national park system. Cuba gained its independence from Spain, and Clyde Fitch's The Girl with the Green Eyes was a hit on Broadway. Not far away from 42nd Street, 8 physicians met in the home of urologist Ramon Guiteras for an historic occasion, the birth of the New York Genito-Urinary Society. On February 22, 1902, the New York Society moved to disband, and the group then became the American Urological Association, even though, to this point, all were New Yorkers.
Well, our founder, Ramon Guiteras, was a unique individual. He was an explorer, he was a boxer, he had multiple interests as well as his urology. Well, Ramon Guiteras got together with a group of urologists and some very good wine in a local pub and decided that these people wanted to get together for 2 reasons. One, for the camaraderie, and secondly, to exchange intellectual information. And that, in essence, is what the AUA does, except in a much broader sense.
By the end of the decade, the family of urologists created in New York included physicians from all over the country, leading to an extended family consisting of 5 geographical sections.
Dr. Hugh Young was a true pioneer in the surgery of the prostate, in the radical prostatectomy and open prostatectomy. And in about the early teens, he took care of a unique person from New York named Diamond Jim Brady. And Diamond Jim Brady was a bon vivant around town. He owned the first automobile in New York, became very close to Hugh Young, and funded then what is now the Brady Institute at Hopkins. So our angel in urology really was Diamond Jim Brady.
It was in April of that year that Dr. Young had one of his most ambitious goals realized, the publication of the first journal of urology. It was his hope that a comprehensive journal would allow all members of the AUA to benefit from the groundbreaking urological research conducted worldwide.
Dr. Young was the first professor of urology at Johns Hopkins. Dr. Young then felt that there should be a journal for the American Urological Association and started the Journal of Urology, naming it, somewhat tongue-in-cheek, as the official organ of the American Urological Association.
The turn of the century didn't only mark the beginning of the AUA. It marked the beginning of urology as a specialty. It was the AUA that made the important distinction between the male and female genito-urinary system. Although the association was open to all surgeons, including OBGYN and genito-urinary specialists, emphasis was on the urinary system. By 1932, the AUA logo was created to serve as a visual reminder of the importance this distinct area of medicine held. Originally developed as part of an AUA scientific exhibit for a convention in Chicago, its initial integrity has stayed the same, illustrating blood in the urine as a groundbreaking diagnostic tool. By 1948, America had survived both the Great Depression and the Second World War. Medical research was booming, and penicillin became available to the public at large. At the same time, the AUA helped urology grow to a well-recognized area of medicine and surgery, and the AUA itself grew to 1,290 members. With increased growth came the need for a new home. In 1952, the AUA moved its central office to its permanent location in Baltimore on North Charles Street, the home and workplace of the AUA's newly established executive secretary, William P. Diedisch. Diedisch, for whom the AUA Museum would later be named, was perhaps the most unconventional of AUA secretaries, but also one of the most influential. He was not a urologist, but an artist who studied under the renowned master Max Brodel, director of the Department of Art as applied to medicine at the Johns Hopkins School of Medicine.
The elegant drawings that Diedisch did are in all of our collections, and his anatomical drawings really have helped us in understanding surgery and giving us almost a three-dimensional idea of anatomical relationships, which have led very much to anatomical approaches to surgery. And so there's a blend of understanding the anatomy from the people we work with and some of the illustrators with this heritage.
The carefree I Like Ike era of the 50s brought hula hoops, drive-ins, and a thing called rock and roll to American pop culture. This was also a remarkable era for medical researchers. They discovered the link between cigarettes and lung cancer. Salk's polio vaccine became available for thousands of Americans. An AUA member urologist, Mulvaney Goldberg, made the milestone discoveries of ultrasonic and electrohydraulic lithotripsy. In 1958, to accommodate the increase in AUA members and the growing circulation of the journal, AUA Treasurer Dr. Grayson Carroll incorporated what were now 8 geographical sections of the AUA under 501c3 status. The year 1965 was a turning point in American history. President Johnson sent the first U.S. combat forces in South Vietnam. Muhammad Ali successfully defended his world heavyweight boxing title. And Martin Luther King's 5-day Civil Rights March stirred the nation's consciousness. In 1964, Dr. Donald A. Charnock suggested that the AUA design a medal for the president to be worn when representing the AUA at official social and scientific functions. During the AUA's annual convention in 1971, members hosted a surprise dedication to William Diedisch, celebrating his many contributions to American urology. The William P. Diedisch Museum opened the next year with a fund established at the ceremony, and Diedisch was named its first curator. Its location in Baltimore was propitiously located in the former home of Diedisch's esteemed mentor and the AUA Journal's first editor, Dr. Hugh Hampton Young. In 1976, America celebrated a birthday of its own. Jimmy Carter was elected into office, and the executive committee of the AUA established the much-anticipated Office of Education.
We've been extremely fortunate that people with a passion for education have had that directorship of the Office of Education. First Dr. Scott, followed by Gene Carlton, and more recently by Joe Currier.
With the 1980s came the economic boom of Reaganomics, enabling science and technology to make tremendous strides. Personal computers began making their way into homes, offices, and schools, and major advances in genetics research led to the 1988 funding of the Human Genome Project. In 1986, the AUA Executive Committee unanimously agreed that the AUA should establish a separate foundation to advance the specialty of urology. This vote created the American Foundation for Urological Disease. In 1987, the AUA Health Policy Department was created to address the needs of our members and patients on a national level. This year marks not only the 100th year of the AUA, but also the 50th anniversary of the AUA's home in Baltimore.
As the office needs grew in Baltimore, the needs grew in Houston, and we looked to the future. We then purchased a piece of property at the Baltimore-Washington airport, and at the moment the plans are in progress for our new home office at the airport. We are building in extra space into this building, and we would hope that a number of the groups that work in urology will move their offices, or at least a part of their offices, to this home headquarters.
In 1952, there were just 3 employees of the AUA. Today, there are more than 70. In 1952, the AUA membership was just 1,365. Now we are 14,000 and counting.
Urologists have never been afraid of innovation. We found that we had patients coming to us now with not only a surgical option, but a medical option, and we adapted to that. We've adapted very nicely to laparoscopic approaches. So the evolution of minimally invasive surgery is certainly one of the most exciting things that's happened. The concept that you could break up a kidney stone with a machine that focused ultrasound, that totally changed the way we treat kidney stones. The idea that there can be a pill that can help sexual dysfunction. When I was a resident, I learned this was all psychological. And excitingly, at the present time, we're beginning to look at female sexual dysfunction. So almost in every aspect, if we look at the domains of urology, we've constantly been innovators, and we've not been afraid of innovation.
The AUA, over 100 years of making history with groundbreaking discoveries and revolutionary treatments for the future.